How you guys doing? I hope all is well. Today was a doozy. It was a lot of reports that came out about Diddy and Usher. You guys know Gene Deal. He has come out and he is talking more about Usher because people want to know. And he said when Usher was just a young, innocent little boy, that Diddy was the one that caused him to go to the hospital, to the ER, because of his back door. Okay, so it is alleged that Diddy was going down in his back door and busted open a lot of things, and he had a torn back door. His back door has been torn since he was young. And you know, now a lot of young boys that are older now, they are coming out and say, hey, when I was 6, 9 years old, my parents had me at those parties and Diddy tore my back door up too. Okay, so this is why this is coming up. So I want you guys to take a listen and hear what Gene Deal has to say. And I have some more reports that go more into detail about Diddy and him having this attraction to young innocent boys, I guess, and girls. So make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe here at the Messy Sweet Spot. All right, so let's get on to it, okay? I'm going to play here, and I might stop and go because I notice you guys like me to do that, okay?
If you don't mind me asking, because I know the topic is sensitive, what happened to Usher?
I heard about some music executive from the industry back in Harlem. You know, I heard it from some music executives back in Harlem. And I'm not going to speak on their name. They doing programs and everything like that. And they may be doing some programs. They may speak on it themselves. But I heard it from some music executives.
What did you hear?
Bro, you know how people be talking and we was around some people, something like that. And then some people might say, yo, I don't F with that dude. And at the time, I didn't even know who the F Usher was. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those type of situations. And when probably say, yo, man, I don't F with them niggas, man. I'm getting out that industry and everything like that. You know, Puff sent this little kid to the hospital. How he sent him to the hospital? Man, nigga was bleeding from the butt. And that's what was said. But I didn't even have a name for the kid at the time. Then you hear it, and that's what happened. So, and just to hear this and this new thing where they saying that got kids coming forward and said that he did that, man, that shit is crazy. And like I just said, you know, that's just something that I heard.
All right, Usher, Justin Bieber, and Diddy, this is how they all connect. When Usher was super young, he got signed to a guy named L.A. Reid, this famous music executive. Usher then loses his voice. L.A. Reid wants to help him, get back on track. So he sends him over to this guy named Puff Daddy. And as you can imagine, Usher had a problem. He just didn't know it yet. See, Puff Daddy was this up and coming music executive who could really turn someone into a star. He put him through this thing called Flavor Camp. And during Usher's term in this Flavor Camp, he lived with Puff. And in Usher's words, he would see questionable things. He said at any given time, you can open the door and see a bunch of random people playing Netflix. He said he would be up all night partying when all he really wanted to do was go to the studio. And this is when people will speculate that Diddy did something to Usher. Now, I need you to listen to me. I'm going to give you the evidence as to why people believe this, but until you hear words from Usher, Diddy, Justin Bieber, nobody knows anything. All right, so Diddy and Usher are in an interview with Kevin Hart. Diddy said, hey, yo, pause. When Usher used to live with me, we used to wrestle for Frosted Flakes. Kevin Hart said, what? And he grabs Kevin Hart and pulls him off camera because Kevin Hart doesn't have a filter. After Diddy's Flavor Cam, Usher comes out with an album called Usher. It has really explicit details about watching Netflix. Everybody's like, nah, this is uncomfortable. And people actually did not like the album because his young voice talking about those details really threw people off. And of course, the album was executively produced by Puff Daddy. His mom was like, yo, what the F? So she grabs Usher. You got former bodyguards coming out saying, yeah, Diddy was very inappropriate with Usher. There's a rumor that Usher got sent to the hospital because of an encounter with Diddy. In fact, rumors have been circulating for like 20 years about this situation, which brings us to Usher and Justin Bieber. See, Justin Bieber was coming up in the same way Usher was like when he was super young. A. Read again found Justin Bieber. Usher and Justin Timberlake both wanted to sign Bieber, but Bieber chooses Usher, and Usher basically becomes a mentor. Now, Usher then sends a young Bieber to Diddy for 48 hours. And in this interview, Diddy's saying stuff like, man, Justin is doing things that any 15-year-old would do. Dream of doing. And the thing that's always kind of annoyed me about Diddy personally is he's always towing this imaginary line in interviews because of his ego. He has been snitching on himself in interviews. If you listen, he'll say something like, Justin be having a really good time with me. If no one acknowledges it, he'll be like, I can't say too much. You know what I'm saying? But like a really good time. I can't say too much stuff. You feel me? And he'll do this like throughout the whole interview. But here's the thing about Justin Bieber. He's been insanely harassed by the entertainment industry over the years. In fact, Justin Bieber comes out with the song about it where he's not just talking about one person, he's talking about the whole industry. In fact, Justin Bieber starts crying in an interview when Billie Eilish's name is brought up. He says that he wants to protect her and young people in the industry so they won't go through what he went through. And here's where it gets very wicked. Something you got to understand is the music industry is known for being very wicked. We just talked about Billie Eilish, right? Somebody got to her too. She eventually tells her brother, and her brother gets the person fired. We talking about Billie Eilish. Matter of fact, Taylor Swift even came out and said something happened to her too. And I need you to think about that for a second. If the industry has the audacity to do something like this to a Taylor Swift, who had powerful parents, a bona fide star at the time, this is
Ooh, I just want to stop here to give my input about it because I know you guys want to. It has a lot to do with wicked men. These men are controlling the industry. These men are controlling the government. And these men are wicked. They only see women as, objects, and they see boys as objects as well. And it needs to stop because these men are wicked and these kings gotta go. They gotta go off the board. I mean, they were raised in harsh environments. I'm talking about hustling, street hustling, thugs. So their mindset of right is wrong and wrong is right is all twisted because of their upbringing and how they got here. Diddy, his parents were street thugs and prostitutes and pimps. So that explains a lot of his values and morals and his code of conduct. But, no one, kids especially, shouldn't have been around Diddy. They said Diddy, he loves to party. And these parties are freak offs, and these parties are very adult content. And him just being around Usher and these young little boys, influencing them, introducing them to this freak off, type of life is just crazy, and the parents have failed them because they want to get to Hollywood. Frankly, I feel like, just all these kids need to stop being celebrities and just stop this celebrityism, I've never been a big fan of Hollywood or celebrities. That's just my personal, just never been a big fan. But let's continue on because there's more talks in the works about all this, okay? Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe here at the Messy Sweet Spot and leave comments, okay? Let's go.
just culture at that point. What do you think they're doing to people who aren't famous? So back to these three. So Usher deletes his social media for a day because people are going in on him about him sending Justin Bieber to Diddy. People are saying for all the things that you went through, Usher, why would you send Justin over? And here's what I want to say. Celebrities are human beings and human beings are complicated. So maybe it's not as simple as that. Usher bad because he sent Justin to Diddy. My whole life, I've witnessed the insane things that Diddy has gotten away with in an industry, in a world that allows billionaire music executives to do whatever they want. If you don't know what this is about, look in the comments. So it's probably a little difficult to go against someone like that. I know, and people know that was around in that time that Puff and Usher did have a situation, and that situation led Usher to the hospital. Yo, Gene Deal is at it again, spilling why and the plot, just sticking with the Diddy and Usher situation. Allegedly, Usher's mom, Janetta Patton, is also like, enough is enough. The record needs to be set straight. Remember, Usher went to stay with Puffy. Now, that was a business decision right there. because I didn't know Puffy. I didn't know him. Child, if there's one thing Usher's mom should never have done, it was to allow you bull live with Diddy.
And I would say this, just a rumor that I heard. Everything that I hear, I don't know if it's facts. It's rumor. That's why it's called the messy gossip streets or the messy sweet spot. But this is what I heard. They said that Usher Mom knew that Diddy put her son in the hospital. And she used that as leverage to say, if you don't want this to get out, you need to make Usher a superstar. And I heard that she traded Usher whole for celebrityism, and that's exactly what he got. This is just what I hear. I'm not sure. And I heard that Diddy paid her off a good amount of money and made sure that he would protect Usher and make him into a big celebrity.
When he did, because Usher is never going to escape all these stories involving Diddy. But did you know that after Janetta apparently found out what was happening with Usher at the Flavor Camp and Usher being taken to the hospital because of Diddy, she wanted to sue? Get seated, guys. It's messy. So Usher is catching more strays this time because he was mentioned.
I have one question. Why don't we never see the fathers? I mean, the fathers are failing these kids. And, we need to really talk about these deadbeat fathers, because these deadbeat fathers are the reason why the Black community is in chaos. We need to put more shame and more outrage when it comes to these deadbeat fathers not being responsible. Strap up, but just don't do it at all. But you have to be accountable for your offspring that you leave out here, either to terrorize these streets or just to do some wicked things. Like Diddy, where was his father? His father died at a young age. Usher, where was his father? Justin Bieber, where are his fathers? I mean, these guys, they have a list of deadbeat fathers. All right, so yeah, the kings. Where are the kings that you guys love to praise?
In the latest lawsuit against Diddy by Lil Rod. So while he wasn't exactly mentioned by name, but a redacted excerpt caught the attention of followers because it was clearly pointing to Usher. I mean, an artist who performed at the Super Bowl and had a successful Vegas residency. That sure sounds like Usher, right? So it's for the context in which Usher even came up, apparently, allegedly, Diddy was bragging to Lil Rod about hooking up with two people in the industry, one of them a Philadelphia rapper who dated Nicki Minaj, allegedly Meek Mill, and the artist who performed at the Super Bowl and had a successful Vegas residency. And now with Usher's name coming up again, apparently he's not the only one who is not having it. Sources have reported that his mom also wants to set the record straight about a few things that happened with Diddy. One of them allegedly being that Diddy is actually responsible for Usher ending up in a hospital, and that Usher's mom even wanted to shoot Diddy. But even before that, when it comes to Usher's mom, there has always been the question about whether she knew what was going on. And I would understand why some people would think that she was complicit, because there were tons of reports speculating about what was going on back in the day. You want to tell me that she never read any of them? Or nobody ever called her to tell her that something fishy was going on. So the only thing Usher's mom previously said directly about Diddy was when she was asked how she was comfortable leaving Usher with people like Diddy and how she made sure people were not taking advantage of him. And she said that she had done her homework and knew it was the right call. I was assertive. Okay, I did my homework. Also admitted that she didn't know much about Diddy at the time when Usher was first signed to LaFace Records, but she gave him to Diddy as a mentor, and Usher moved to New York to stay with Diddy. What Usher's mom said was that when Usher hit puberty, he basically lost his voice and record labels no longer wanted anything to do with him. And Diddy, who was with him when the record label wanted to drop him, said he would take him. And that Usher's mom just had to trust him. So she trusted him. And Diddy being Diddy, he totally took advantage of Usher, allegedly. In fact, according to sources, Diddy is even the one who turned Usher, but not because Usher wanted to. And stories have been told about some of Usher's skeletons as well since the Flavor Camp days. For instance, there was a time when he went to a gay club after some Broadway shows, and according to someone who also went to the club, everyone was in Usher's dressing room drinking champagne when someone came up with the idea that they should go to a club. That's when the source claimed the group went to a popular gay nightclub, saying, "We weren't looking for a gay club. It just happened. I mean, most of us were gay, so we just went to a place we knew." The sources said there were half-naked men everywhere, and Usher didn't seem to mind adding. So Usher was talking all up in this guy's face. I thought the two of them were going to start kissing. At first, I couldn't believe my eyes, but then I thought, this is Chelsea. So anything goes. About 20 minutes after we got there, a crowd started to form around Usher, and when he decided that it was time to leave. So we all had a lot of fun, though I know he did. When it comes to the skeletons, Usher was also accused of spreading an STI by 2 women and a man. There's a woman named Quantasia Sharpton, along with a Jane Doe and John Doe, who sued Usher, claiming they all hooked up with Usher, and they all said he risked their health by not telling them about his alleged diagnosis and was seeking unspecified damages. Of course, there's also the John Doe who claimed he spent the night with Usher at a Korean spa in Los Angeles and also got infected. Baby, these lawsuits were swept under the rug, and there were even reports that Usher paid $1 million for it to go away. Oh, wait. And the rumor mill is saying that this is the same diagnosis that landed Usher in a hospital courtesy of Diddy. And it's that incident that apparently pushed Usher's mom to sue. But there are people who still say to date that they don't believe that Usher's mom didn't know what was going on before that incident. Well, when Usher was asked by Howard Stern whether his parents were okay with whatever was happening at the Puffy Flavor camp, he said they had no idea what was going on. She, Mary J. Blige, they didn't know nothing about this. This allegation is also supported by the report that people who were working on Kim Porter's book before Diddy stopped it from hitting the shelves again, said that Usher's mom confronted Diddy when she found out about what was happening and wanted to sue. Honey, what I'm having a hard time understanding is what happened with the lawsuit. Was Usher's mom paid off? Was she threatened? And why is it that this issue was coming up after Usher has been named in the latest lawsuit? Is it that she finally feels compelled to say what happened? Or is she no longer afraid of Diddy because he does not have the power he had all those years ago? Well, in light of the lawsuit Lil Rod filed, Jeannie Deal has confirmed that there was indeed a situation that ended up with Usher in the hospital. Baby, as far as Jane is concerned, Usher had no business in the hospital about Diddy when he did his interview on Club Shia, because they both know what Diddy did to him. Nah, I'm telling that because you taking up for somebody when you was at Diddy camp. I don't know, guys, these days I also have to sit and imagine how Gene sat around and watched a lot of what Diddy was doing and didn't do anything to stop it. If you ask me, he gives some pretty specific details in a lot of his videos, and I believe he mostly tells the truth. But he just watched it all happen without ever intervening. I mean, shouldn't he have gone to the police as this stuff was happening or something? It's 20, 30 years later, and now he wants to tell all. Anyway, I'm not here to talk too much about Gene Deal. I just thought he needed to be checked for being kind of complicit. Cause from the way he has been talking for years, this is not someone who has ever been scared of Diddy. Okay, as far as Usher is concerned, maybe he will one day see it, speak his truth about what really happened when he was at the Flavor Camp. He already said during his interview with Howard Stern that the things he saw were out of this world, and that as an adult, he would never allow his child to go to that camp. He has also said that when the time is right, he will include the details in a book someday. So maybe he just needs a little more time and a little more grace. As for his mother, it has been reported that she's livid about Usher's name being brought up again. Still questions about what role she played in Usher being taken advantage of by Diddy. Do you think she was complicit, or do you think she was too scared of Diddy to do anything about it? Is it possible that she never knew what was happening until...
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. I want to know, what are you guys' thoughts about it? Please leave your comments below. Again, you are watching The Messy Sweet Spot, and I will see you guys on another video. Bye.